contact for departure.
November short of Echo, Envoy 3495.
Delta 562, maintain 6,000, contact final 127.25, see you later.
6,000, contact final 127.25, Delta 5.
Airbus 7704, 5610 and 250, 1 up class, got call.
704, Atlanta, runway 8 left.
8 left, 704.
Delta 704 at first, some reports of a loud squeal and some background noise when I'm not, you guys just keep monitor that point.
Well, it's over here, 704,
I think.
Atlanta, 744, for 13,000 at Andre, that's all.
Delta 744, Atlanta 8 left, East Austin Company 704, join us.
Alright, 8 left, and copy on the other call line.
Delta 704, East Austin 744, check that. 744.
Cruise 56 here, 170 out to us, so there's a approach on 125. We'll be following the company Brazilian off the base link from the north downwind. Dallas 553, uniform turn left heading 220, contact Chicago departure.
Dallas 5348, traffic 1 o'clock, 5 miles, 15 side of Lima, descending at a 1,800, American Bolton 757. United 495, road 82-250.
Stay straight right, and Echo clear to take off, heading 270, and I have 204.
Delta 704, the Airbus, just going to maintain 9,000, clear JJ.
704 is going to 9,000, and just JJ.
And that'll get altitude up at 988, 16.601, 4,000 with golf.
Delta 988, good afternoon, runway 8 left. Delta 704, kind of final 127.25, have a good day.
2725, Delta 704, good day.
Delta 744, maintain 12,000.
12,000, Delta 744.
Delta 2200, 87.
Delta 2200, advise off, runway 8 left. Delta 988, clear gas, just going to maintain 12,000.
Gas, 1,200, 188.
Dallas 5348, maintain 180 on Austin to Lima, fly heading 220 to Greenwich, Island for 25 left. Dallas 5348, follow Boeing 757, calculate clear visual approach and with 25 left.
Delta 744, radius 3210.
210, Delta 744.
And 180 to Lima, and 220 to John, 259, Dallas 5348.
Delta 2200, just going to maintain 12,000.
12,000,
Delta 988, radius speed 210.
Speed 210, Delta 988.
I'm at 250 now, and then Santa Monica is just 070 on heading.
Affirmative, after Santa Monica, heading 070 for United 495.
At a 495, we'll do it.
Delta 9895, heavy liner, approach hotel, turn, and your runway is 8 left.
approach up 1637, leveling 12,000 flat and with stall.
Oh, 1637, airline approach hotel, now turn, you're only 8 left.
8 left, up 1637.
Dallas 5348, contact Los Angeles Tower 120.905 today.
Delta 744 to 7maintain 7,000.
7,000, Delta 744.
Spirit 940, tower, top straight right at golf. left on November and contact ground point 9 on the other side.
Delta 1637, fly heading 140 to maintain 900,000.
Heading 140 down to now 900,000.
Alright, cross ready Golf Golf and November and currently attack for Nestle. Number 3613, fly runway heading, remain the frequency 28 right, echo, cleared for takeoff. Right, echo, cleared for takeoff, runway heading, we'll do number 3613.
American 1450. Follow the traffic that says visual approach 25 left. You can contact the pilot now 120.9 or 5. Up to there.
Got 204, 28 right, echo, line up and wing.
Sales 953, line approach, advise information hotel, your runway day left. Delta 988, maintain 7,000.
7,000, Delta 988.
Delta 744, contact approach 127.25, get it.
12725, Delta 744.
Delta 9895, heavy, descend to maintain 12,000, proceed direct down where you're going.
Delta 9895, heavy down to 12,000 direct down.
Get it, over to that next portion.
Heading 495, descend and maintain 10,000. After Santa Monica, fly heading 070.
Delta 2200, reach speed 210.
12,210, Delta 2200.
Straight right, echo, line up and waiting at 204. BC40 103, contact Chicago to Parker.
070 after Santa Monica, engineer to descent to 10,000, United 497.
Just roll right, 25 left.
Parker, good morning.
Good morning. Travis 553, uniform, turn left heading 250 on all another turn. Got 5169, 28 right, echo, line up and wait. Onward 3494, give way to Spirit, when able, taxi straight down November, shortly Yankee. Scout 5159, fly runway heading, remain the frequency, 28 right, echo, cleared for takeoff. Onward 3560, 28 right, echo, line up and wait, departure frequency will be 126.62.
Sales 953, thanks, maintain 310 knots to grid. South 2367 on approach, advise that you have hotel and your runway day left. Delta 988, contact approach 127.25, get it.
Delta 988.
Delta 322, line approach, your runway is 8 left at Ozzy, reduce speed to 280.
8 left RZ, slow to 280 now, Delta 320.
Delta 1637, turn rating 160.
Heading 160, Delta 1637.
Delta 1637, descend to maintain 6,000, contact approach 127.25, get it.
Alright, down to 6,725, good day, Delta 1637.
Approach Delta 320, what speed or altitude and margin?
Altitude. Delta 2200, maintain 7,000. 7,000. Sales 953, descend to maintain 12,000.
Give way to Spirit, straight down November 30, Yankee, onboard 3494. Number 3613, turn left heading 220 and contact Chicago to Parker.
Left 220, go ahead and park over 30.
Left heading 220, contact Flight Scout 553 uniform. Yeah, 204, flight 270, 28 right, echo clear for takeoff. Runway 3682, your departure frequency will also be 126.62 this morning.
12662 on 136.
Delta 2210, set approach 127.25. Good day. Delta 2367, just going to maintain 9,000.
2 Denver 9000.
Left heading 250, Scout 553 uniform.
Now runway 3494, we're going to need a couple minutes.
Runway 3494 for now, stand November short of Echo, and we'll work that out. You can expect the full length for departure.
November short of Echo, on 3494.
Scout 553 uniform, turn left heading 220 and contact Chicago departure.
Clear at Echo, we'll have to wait on road 34.
Clear 56 170 after us, so there's approach on 125, lefty following company Brazil off the same place from the North Island.
Delta 2367, when you're in, we see direct JJ on the top.
Alright, so we go right now.
Delta 9895, heavy reduced speed is 210.
Delta 9895 heavy phone to 210.
Delta 322, just going to maintain 12000. See direct gas for rejoin.
Down to 12000 direct gas, Delta 322.
Delta 1048, direct hotels now. Turn your way 8 left.
Approach, good afternoon, transport 3320 heavy, information hotel 16.4, descending to cross Andrea 130.
Transport 3320 heavy liner, approach your runway 9 right.
9 watch, 3320 heavy.
United 495, ready to 250.
We can confirm
Delta 2711, maintain 12000 direct gas.
12000 direct gas, 2711.
Direct to 348, traffic 10 o'clock, 5 miles, eastern side of Lima, descending at 1,800, American Boeing 757.
Left to 376, it's going to maintain 9,000 direct change.
To 9,000. Wait a second again.
I said the wrong one. Come on, that's JJ.
Alright, that makes sense. Correct, JJ for 366.
Delta 2629, speed 210.
210 knots from 2629.
For 3134, line approach, 8 left.
Direct 5348, maintain 180 knots into Lima, fly heading 220 to join the final for 25 left.
Stay straight right and Echo clear for takeoff, heading 270 and I have 204.
4970, line approach, 8 left. Going golf. Delta 2629, just going to maintain 7,000.
Maintain 7,000, 2629.
Delta 4970, flight present power, flight heading 140, just going to maintain 9,000.
Okay, heading 140, maintain 9,000,
Delta 9964, heavy line approach, right 9 right.
9 right, Delta 9964.
Endeavor 5174, Endeavor, just going to maintain 12,000.
Alright, 7,000,
Direct to 348, follow Boeing 757, constellate clear visual approach, and with 25 left.
Delta 2711, reduced speed to 210.
Speed to 10, Delta 2711. Air 4970, golf.
Thank you.
And 180 Lima and 220 is growing, 259, Skyline 5348.
contact Los Angeles Tower 120.905 today.
Not 2415, line approach 8 left. So 882, line approach 8 left.
940 power talk, good, ready to go, right, turn left on North Upper, and contact ground form down on the other side. Alright, well, ready to go,
3185, you with me?
We are. Letter 14000.
Total 3185 on approach on the 8 left, proceed direct gas, descend to maintain 13,000.
8 left, gas, 13000. Delta 3185, sorry about that.
All good, Delta 2711, final 12725.
Good day, Delta 2711.
United 2415, heading 180.
Heading 180, United 2415.
Air 5174, descend to maintain 7,000.
Down November 30, Cowboy 3491.
Number 3613, turn left at 220 and contact Chicago departure. 220 go ahead, first delivery, sir.
United 2415, turn right heading 190.
Right heading 190, United 2415.
Delta 882, turn right 190. United 2415, can approach 27.25. Denver 5320, reduce speed to 230. Sorry, Blue Street 5320, speed 230. Delta 3185, reduce speed to 230.
That's 3185.
Delta 3185, reduce speed to 230.
230, Delta 3185.
Southwest 2120, call stop, probably stay left.
Hey, Matt, we'll get you on Southwest 2120.
Left heading 220, contact departure, Chicago 553 uniform. United 204, flight 270 to a right echo cleared for takeoff. Runway 3682, your departure frequency will also be 126.62 this morning.
12662 on 13682.
Delta 882, maintain 8,000, can approach 27.25.
8000, 2725, Delta 882.
Denver 5174, traffic 12 o'clock and 5 miles southbound to Premier 6000, contact final on 127.25.
Is no restart.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Art, this is Mark at Fallon, Nevada.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I lived in Tucson about 11 years ago. I wanted to ask you if you think this might have been an abduction. I was driving down Sendero Road, Bell 62 Dodge Dart, in the road at the dip, translucent, I'd say orange, probably 30 feet at the top, 30 feet high, 20 feet at the top. It was an inverted triangle, translucent. Went through the dip, my car died. I lost 17 minutes. I was going to my girlfriend's house at the time. And got to her house, called the Air Force. Nothing was in the air. Nothing at all whatsoever. She noticed a little bloody spot in the back of my neck. It's like a little V. It's now a cute little white scar behind my right ear. Now, I've tried calling other people and talking to this and that and the other thing, and nobody's ever been able to give me an explanation or anything, or if there's ever been an entity even that looked like that anybody had ever experienced.
How do you know that you had 17 missing minutes?
Well, my friend, I had my watch on, and when I looked at the thing, I looked down at my watch, and it was like, okay, I'm late. And the car died, and the last thing I remember was kind of rolling up out of an arroyo, and the next thing I looked back down, it was a wind-up watch. It wasn't electronic. It was a Bulova. And there it was. And
all right, do you have any conscious memories of what went on during those 17 minutes?
Not a thing, my friend. Not
a thing. All right, I would say that there's a very, very good chance that you were abducted. And the only way you're going to really find out whether or not that's true is to volunteer to go through some sort of hypnotic experiment with somebody. If somebody puts you under, then there's a very good chance you can find out what happened during that 17 minutes if you have the cojones for it. Now, I wonder psychologically, I mean, we are, in the world right now, we are experiencing abductions. We are being taken. Now, most people want to believe that if they are here, and I do believe they are here, and they are watching us, and they are abducting us, that they're nothing but little friendly guys. I'm not one of those people. I give equal possibility, absolute equal possibility, to the chance that they are not our friends. I mean, friends, after all, don't pluck you out of an automobile and experiment with you and do things that result in bloody little marks that become scars and then not tell you what happened. So I don't know. This whole abduction thing is worth pursuing. It's interesting, but it's not necessarily, in my opinion, benign. Not at all.
West of Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Yes, sir, Bill. This is Grace from Eugene, Oregon.
Yes.
I'd like to let you know that I've been affected by an alien.
Abducted by an alien?
Yes. How I know that was I've been having these really bad, horrendous headaches.
Yes.
And
A lot of people have headaches, right? That doesn't mean they've been created by aliens.
True, but I had an MRI done, and there's 2 growths in my brain.
2 growths in your brain?
Yes, they're like white, what they call bright spots. And there's no explanation why they should be there, but they just are.
You have 2 bright spots, and after they gave you an MRI, they said, they probably put it up on the screen, and they said, look at these 2 bright spots in your brain.
Right.
They shouldn't be there. They should. Is that what they said? They shouldn't be there, but they are?
Yes.
And what did they say?
They should not be there.
And what did they say they thought they were?
They don't know. And before I went and had the MRI done, I was on a ship that had a great big bright light on it, you know, like the operation.
You were taken aboard a spacecraft?
Yes.
This wasn't a, wait a minute, it wasn't a dream?
No.
How do you know you were on board a spacecraft? Might seem like a silly question, but did you just suddenly be there, or what?
I'm not really sure. All I know is that there was some rays. I guess that's what you call them, ones with big black eyes. 2 notches in the face for the nose. A very small mouth.
No,
And
what were you doing? Were you walking down the street? Were you asleep in bed?
I was just laying down in bed, yeah.
Laying down in bed. And so you're sure now that you didn't fall asleep and this was some sort of dream. This was real.
I'm positive because I was in a lot of pain.
Oh, well, I understand. You may have a medical malady, but whether or not it's as a result of, implants put on board your head on board this ship, that's another question. Do you have any evidence that this is what happened to you?
The only thing I have as evidence is MRI where the bright spots are in the brain.
Normally somebody would do an MRI on somebody and find bright spots on the brain, would be tempted to take you to a neurosurgeon and...
That's who did it. It was a neurosurgeon that did this. Yes.
So, what do you think's going on? Only you know what's in your head. Are you being told to do things? Is there some communication going on? Are you having some effect from whatever it is that's in your brain?
Just a lot of pain.
A lot of pain?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound too good.
No, it's not. It's not fun.
All right, so the next time somebody out there wishes for an abduction, they should remember this lady's story. A lot of people call up and say, oh, I wish I'd be abducted. I wish they'd let them take me. Well, how'd you like to end up with a couple of bright spots in your brain and constant headaches? You might want to be very careful about that one. And actually, I've got Jay on the line. Hello there, Jay. Hi, Art. How you doing? Yeah, I hear you fine. I'm doing okay. You're in Ohio, huh? Yeah, I live in Akron. Yes, sir. What happened to you on WTAM? What happened to you? Well, it happened about, I think 99, summer 99. I was driving home from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right. And I was on Interstate 76, heading westbound. And it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was visiting friends and just heading home. And at night on the freeway, I was running cars, maybe a couple of rigs driving by, and I come around the corner. I was doing probably about 70 miles an hour. Were you in a car or a truck? Yeah, I was in my car. I drove a Nissan. All right. And I had just come around the corner, and there was a rig up to the side of the road. When I drove by him, he was just sitting there. And when I drove by him, it was his truck went, which I thought was kind of strange. So I looked back and I just saw him like, you know, burr, he made the sound. And I looked around and I'm like, oh, this is weird. I don't know what he's doing now. And I looked ahead and all of a sudden it was over. It was I just saw the black outline of it. And it looked just like the thing that, I forget his name, that guy that found a UFO when, I think it was Washington, the alien attacked it.
Dr. Reed.
Yeah, it was shaped like that.
Are you talking about what he called the obelisk?
Yeah. It was shaped like the obelisk.
So that trucker that blew the horn was really trying to warn you, wasn't he?
I don't know. I have no idea why he was sitting there.
Well, if he was not, then I would conclude that he saw whatever it was in the road.
Yeah, man. He blew the horn and made me turn around and look at him, and I was like, what the hell's going on? You know? And then I looked and I saw it, and it was floating in the middle of the highway. Just floating. Right there in the middle of the highway. My headlights hit it, but the weird is like the light didn't really reflect off of it. Kind of like absorbed it. Like it wasn't even made of metal. You know, my car came right underneath it. When it did, top half my windshield hit it. And I went out on the road and I landed in the median. When I looked around, it was gone.
It was gone?
Yeah. But the truck was still there. The truck was sitting the way I saw its headlights and everything. You know, I got stuck. And I tried to back out and I couldn't do it. You know, I had to get out of my car and he just blocked. He started to roll away. He drove right past me and jumped on go. And I'm sitting there in the middle of the road like, what the hell? But I looked at my windshield, you know, the only damage to my car was the windshield was cracked.
Yeah.
So, about 10 minutes later, another car came down the road and I waved him over. You know, I told him I ran off the road. I didn't tell him what the UFO or anything I hit. You know, he helped me get my car out of there. And the only other damage to my car was I had ripped a metal shield that looks like a shield off the top of my exhaust one. That was the only other damage to my car besides the crack in my windshield.
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah,
the whole thing is odd. What do you think you hit?
I have no idea, but I'm trying to call you, I don't know, for the past couple months. And now I kind of forgot about calling you, and then you guys were talking about things in the middle of the road and all that stuff. So I decided to, fact flash you, get a hold of it or whatever.
Well, I did, and I appreciate your story. I don't even begin to know how to diagnose what happened to you.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. I mean, but
you're sure of one thing. You're sure that whatever it was just hovering there.
Just hovering right in the middle of the road, and I hit it at about 70 miles an hour. And I mean, I don't even know if I damaged it or whatever. All I remember was a big boom, and I ducked my head, and next thing I know, I'm off in the ditch. You know, that's incredible. And I turned around, looking around. I couldn't really see much. I just saw the truck off in the distance. You know, I think it was gone because I got out of my car. I didn't.
He probably didn't want anything to do with any of it.
But I'm standing there looking at him, and he just drives away. He just pulls away, and, it was like one of those, I forget what kind of trucking company it is. I probably shouldn't mention it.
No, don't, please. But it's not necessarily, it's human nature. I mean, I really think the guy probably had seen this and was stopped looking at it and was trying to warn you.
What, he wants to get it to or something? I have no idea. This feels weird.
Weird Ohio, weird Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
Take care. All right, there you go. For what is Wildfire Line, you're on the air with Apple. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to give glory to God and His Holy Spirit for touching the lives of Christians out there who listen to your show. And also, I have a question for Pamela.
Yes.
What gives these entities, or whatever they are, the right to interfere with people's lives?
Again, interference.
People who are going through their lives, my husband doesn't think I'm having an affair, but they make him think because of weird, extraordinary circumstances. I didn't always believe it, but
wait a minute.
Well,
Wait, everybody hold it for a second. Hold it. Caller, your husband thinks you're having an affair?
Yeah, and I would not, I would not.
Well, I understand that, but
look at another man.
Well, maybe you should play this tape for him then.
What tape?
The one you're making right now.
Right now?
Yes, on the air.
So why does
You wouldn't lie to Art Bell.
Why
He
does-
obviously doesn't believe you.
why does he think
No,
this?
no, no.
No. Why?
Seemingly extraordinary circumstances in my life, you know, like things happening at a certain time
Like
So you think
that,
you're
you know,
having
that I may be leaving.
like what?
know?
Like
You're having
stop.
interaction.
Stop. Like what? Are
Like
you
even
are you
things
having? And she's
inside.
asking the right question. Are you having an interaction with another being?
I don't know. I have had, you know, dreams, you know, I remember from my childhood, but any interaction that I'm having right now, other than seeing UFOs in the sky,
That doesn't constitute an affair.
no, I don't think it does either. But other than UFOs in the sky, I don't remember anything except for weird events going around, and I can't possibly explain them.
Well, you must have told him something to make him think that.
Oh no,
Nothing at all.
no.
So he's plucking this right out of the air, thin air.
I guess so.
Well, I guess listen to Leo Biscaglia and Carolyn Mason. Maybe that'll help you a bit. They're really incredibly self-empowering people.
Well, I worked with Frank Machino on his book, The Bracken County Monster, cover for the Flatwoods Monster Reveal, happened 12 to 52. And the kicker is that some people complain. You talk about dogfights between military planes and UFOs. And I had to, we did a lot of looking, and we found loads of instances of such dogfights. And what we also found, to my surprise, believe it or not, was that orders were issued to military pilots to shoot down UFOs if they don't land when instructed to do so. This is in the summer of 52. Think about that for a minute.
Oh, I thought a lot about that.
Now, there's another quote that we found. General Roger Ramey stated that we have scrambled jets after UFOs hundreds of times. He didn't say a few or several.
Hundreds of times.
Hundreds of times. Now, in addition to this, I have on 7 different occasions heard from people quietly. Nobody was looking for publicity in this. Of situations in which more than one airplane went up after UFOs and fewer came down.
We definitely could. Are you telling me that military pilots have been lost?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, in 52, there was an unbelievable number of military aircraft crashes, including, and this one shook me up, there were 3 pilots who fought in Korea, where they were being chased by MiGs, you know?
Yes.
Came back. They did over 100 missions over there. Must be pretty good pilots, don't you think?
Excellent.
And they came back and crashed. 3 different ones. There were reports of planes that, quote, disintegrated, whatever that's supposed to mean, and planes that, quote, disappeared.
It means exactly that. Chief, where to begin? Back up a little bit. Where have there been reports of planes disintegrating?
In the United States, eastern part of the country, in the summer of 52, 53.
Disintegrating?
Yeah, I mean, you know, just a little article in the New York Times. It's crazy. And so we followed this up. We went back to the old books, Kehoe's books, Wilkins' books, and even Roosevelt's. And it's clear that there were indeed battles between fighters and UFOs. And Frank tells the story in the book, and there's a new edition being put together as we speak. I wrote the forward, the epilogue of the Bracken County Monster cover, the Flatwoods Monster Reveal. It's listed on the website.
With regard to dogfights, is there actual, I don't know, any
guns, and nothing happened. There's a bright light coming from this thing. And I said, that's probably why you're alive, isn't it? Somebody had forgotten. The plane wasn't loaded with ammunition. It's been sitting out of the apartment. Then he was interrogated for several hours after that. Nobody doubting what he was saying, but wanting the details. You know, what direction and how fast did it move, and, you know, all the kind of stuff that...
Do you recall any of that?
Yeah, he spent hours with these guys. And so that one I happened to talk to, and I've talked to others. One guy was at Andrews Air Force Base in the middle of that bus in 52, where two pilots went up, one came back, and the guy was just ashen-faced. All he could say was he went straight up. The other plane never came back, and he put out a story it must have crashed into the ocean. Too bad.
So only one pilot came back?
Yeah, two went up, one came back. Now,
and again, the story of the one who went straight up.
I think the guy was talking about
what happened to the other guy?
Who knows? We don't know. And now people may think, hey, this is science fiction. Well, let me point out that in the year 2001, the military had a conference where they had relatives of 166 men who were lost in reconnaissance flights over the Soviet Union, China, and Korea, where nothing had been said in public for 40 years.
What is your first name?
Mary.
Mary. Okay, Mary. You know what this is all about now. You have had actual physical contact, Mary, with an alien?
Well, many times, but this is something that's very unusual. About 2 months ago, I had an alien actually enter into my body while I was fully awake, 7 o'clock at night, my family around. My husband saw me. It was bizarre.
When this event occurred, Mary, were you conscious of what was happening to you?
Totally conscious. I was watching, getting ready to watch Dayline, and how this energy flowing through my body, and I looked up and I could see 3 aliens, the grays, standing there, and they're actually in a beam of light.
Okay.
And they just showed themselves for a second, and about 15, 20 minutes later, I couldn't get up off the chair, and I finally was able to get up, and I felt really weird, and all of a sudden it felt like there were 2 people inside of me. I could actually feel them, and feel it moving.
All right, this is going to seem like a rude question.
Okay.
How do you know it wasn't all in your head?
Because you know what, it felt like my body was just over stuff, and plus I got all this energy just flowing through my body.
I know, I've got all that. How do you know that it was sourced out? How do you know that it really was aliens? Now you say you saw grays.
If I had not saw them, had I not seen them, I would have thought maybe it was just some bizarre episode, but I don't know how to explain it.
Could it have been an episode accompanied by something in your imagination? Could that be? Or what, was there any way to be concerned that you were fully conscious, reach down, hit yourself, whatever?
I was walking around. I actually went outside and walking around. I was talking to my husband, but I was also experiencing this. How else do you explain something else being in your body? It's hard to
I don't know. What do you think the intent was of what was done to you? Why? Any idea? Guess?
What I understand is that I could tell I'll just call it a he, had never experienced the human physical body before. He seemed somewhat maybe more dimensional. Maybe that's why he just seemed so amazed with
So at the time
petting the dog and petting the cat.
Got it. At the time that he was in you, so to speak, or meshed with you, not only was he detecting you, but you were detecting his feelings as well.
Yeah, and that is how I know that there was somebody inside of me. Not only that, you could physically see. I mean, my husband was looking at me, and I mean, I was looking at myself in the mirror. I mean, my eyes felt like they were bulging out, and my face just looked different.
What did your husband have? Yeah, what did he have to say about all of this?
He didn't quite, he believes me, because I've had other things happen before, but he believes me, and he really believes me, and no doubt about it that something just amazing was happening, and I don't know how else to, what else to say about it. It was a great, unique experience, and I have to say that very, very benevolent, kind.
knots, Endeavor 5174.
All right, Endeavor 4970, you're still at 250 and contact final 12725.
2725, we're there, sir. They're 4970.
Thank you. Down at 2415, speed 210, then maintain 6,000.
Speed 210, then down to 6,000, unit 2415.
Delta 882, speed 210.
210, Delta 882.
Booster 5320, just going to maintain 13,000. This is a heavy at your 1 o'clock and 5, southbound at 12.
Good air, what's that, Mike Fortune?
Headed 495, just going to maintain 10,000. After Santa Monica, fly heading 070.
Delta 3185, you with me?
We are. Another 14,000.
Delta 3185 on approach on the 8 left, receive direct gas, just going to maintain 13,000.
8 left, gas, 13 south, Delta 3185, sorry about that.
All good, Delta 2711, final 12725.
Good day, Delta 2711.
2415, heading 180.
Heading 180, unit 2415.
Air 5174, just going to maintain 7,000. 7,000.
Straight right echo, echo line up and waiting out at 204.
AC 4103, contact Chicago departure.
070 after Santa Monica and continue the descent to 1 to 1,000, United 494.
Super runway 25 left.
Departure, good morning, AC 41.
Good morning. Travis 553, uniform, turn left heading 250 on all another 10.
Much to the
Cal 5169, 28 right egg, right to line up and wait. Convoy 3494, give way to Spirit when able, taxi straight down November, short of Yankee.
Hi, this is Larry with the service station. Calling in reference to ticket number 301568378 for the shared drive request to be bolsters to its original location. That's been done previously. You probably do see that.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
the SFC team did ask for you to submit a team folder request for the additional folders that you needed. The original call was to move the original share back to its original location, and you also needed access to data team scan, original management, and the welcome center. For those two, you can go to Tools and Resources, Form Center, then you'll see Information Technology, and it's access, and then you see the folder request. Have somebody fill that out. I can get the management approval and submit it, and we'll go ahead and give you access to those shares. And I'm going to go ahead and close out this ticket. We can always reopen it. If you have any problems, give us a call. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.
And there are weekend flights with nothing that. I mean, they've got to have, I know they have a back point for VPN, so maybe on BlackRock, it has one specifically that Cisco has one. All right, that's fine. Mark Road. Road.
Buddy, man, what for today?
Okay. That'll be 6.
Your Schwarzenegger has something there?
6, 7, 8.
You know? Huh?
I don't know what they started.
I was down the parking lot.
Yeah,
What he was doing in the parking lot. That was not close.
He's a home user, or this is for his loan.
We're just trying to push it down.
Hi, this is Larry with the service desk. You call in reference to ticket number 301568378 for the shared ride request. That's conducted, so you probably see that.
No, that's fine. Yeah,
The SFC did ask for you to submit a team folder request for the additional folders that you needed. The original call was to move the original share back to its original location, and you also needed access to data team scan, virtual management, and the welcome center. For those two resources, welcome center, you see information technology, then it's access, and then you see the folder request. Have somebody fill that out and submit it, and go ahead and I'll give you access to those shares. And I'm going to go ahead and close that ticket. We can always re-open it if you have any problems. Give us a call. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.
about all of that? There wasn't any, I don't know.
No intrusion.
Yeah.
There was none of that. It was like a child touching things and walking for the first time. So it was really a unique experience for me too.
Well, that's a very interesting description, like a child doing something for the first time. That's what it would be like too.
And he was very worried about scaring my husband and scaring my son. I actually kept turning away from my son because I looked so bizarre at the time.
All right, as with most who have had this kind of experience, apparently, and you said it, it's happened to you before. Maybe not exactly.
That's the only time that had happened. I've had other contacts with aliens, and I've woken up on ships and things like that. But this is really a unique.
Is there anything else? You know, it's an opportunity. An awful lot of people listening. You had real contact. Was there any message or any understanding that you gleaned from these beings in any of your encounters that would be important to pass along to the audience?
Well, a lot of the encounters that I had, I only remember bits and pieces, and I had a lot of anger and hostility. So I'm really kind of shocked that in these last years I've had really great experiences with them, and all I have to say is that they were the Greys, and these ones were really nice. I can't say that for all of them, but
do you think the early bad experiences that you had were only bad because you were frightened, or do you think they really were bad, you know, in perspective, looking back?
You hit it right on the head, Art. I think that's what it was. I was so afraid. Actually, what I did was I was so afraid of them, and I was so angry at being abducted all the time that I just said out loud, come to me during the day and I won't be afraid. You know, if you just do, you scare me at night. And when I said that, I started having these great daytime experiences. So, I don't know what else, that happened. Maybe it'll help other people. Maybe if they do that.
Do you think this is really common, Mary? Do you think a lot of people are having these experiences? Have you met anybody else who is?
Not that kind of an experience. Not where they come right inside your body. I've never heard of that.
Well, yeah,
but I know, people have had good experiences.
I've never heard of it either, Mary. But the odds are, now that you have told this story, trust me, I'll bet you a whole bunch of light bulbs went on out there, and there's people trying to dial saying, that happened to me too. Anyway,
I hope they do.
Yeah, and I really appreciate your calling. So there's no overall message that you got, Mary, that people should know about. I mean, are you ready to say, don't worry, they're friendly?
Well, I don't know all of them, so I couldn't honestly say that. I'm happy I met some that were nice. I can't speak for all of them, but the ones I've been meeting lately are very nice. So
again,
I got no direct message from him when he was inside of me. He was there to just experience.
No big Earth straighten out or else kind of message, right?
No. No.
Okay, Mary. Thank you for calling.
First time caller like John is in Sacramento on Coast to Coast AM. John?
Yes, he is.
Open lines, buddy. Where are you going to take us?
Well, I have an exception story for you.
Okay. Of yours?
Yes.
Okay.
First-hand experience. I was approximately 7, I believe, and I remember waking up in this room. It was cold, dark, pretty scary, and there was a bright light right above my head. And as I was getting my bearings, trying to figure out what was going on, one of these aliens made themselves aware. I sensed their presence before I seen it. It was very strange, very strange. And then I've heard your callers talk about before how there's a empathic feeling or something to that effect. And I can read their thoughts and they can read mine. It's very strange. It was quite spooky as a child. And then I kind of fell asleep and dozed off again. Well, when I came to the next day, I kind of brushed it off as just a dream or whatever. I told my parents about it. Well, I was in the bath that night, and I'm taking my shower. As I was washing myself up, I looked down, and I noticed a faint scar just on my right lower quadrant, abdomen area.
Okay.
And so I got to know this, and, I'm starting to know this. Sometime later, approximately, 15 years later, had this horrible pain. Went to the doctor, told me I had to take a sinus. I had to do emergency surgery right then. So in the midst of your surgery, went through, everything came out fine. The doctor came in the recovery room with a small bag, and there was this tiny, smallest little thing I've ever seen in my life. And he said, "Where did this come from?" And I said, "Sir, I don't know what that is." And he said, "Well, it's way beyond instinct reaches you can recognize." I said, "Oh." Well, the doctor said, "Well, we're going to send it to lab research and, all that stuff." And I said, "Okay, whatever." So, 2 days later, two men come walking in my hospital room, wearing nothing but black shades, black hair. They were some 3-letter agency, God only knows who. And they started asking questions. Very detailed questions about what I've been doing, who I've been around, blah, 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 blah. And they told me that I was to never speak to this incident again. And they played out bodily harm on me and my family if we repeated this thing.
So what's going to happen to you as a result of this phone call?
I don't care. I think it's kind of the American public knows what's going on.
All right, well, that's something we get all the time on this show, and we'll just add your story on to the list of other people with that testimony. Thank you, John, for taking the time. Very interesting.
A lot of mothers who they were pregnant. There were 2 babies in there, and then all of a sudden they have a nighttime experience. They know they've been abducted, and there isn't 2 babies the next time they go. And I've had them from all during the pregnancy up to 2 hours for the delivery. I've had there be 2 heartbeats and 2 hours. So they're in the hospital, and all of a sudden the light fills the room fills with light, and there's no they were twins all the way up. They said, "Yeah, okay, we're seeing the babies." And there was one case, 2 hours before the room filled with light, and they only delivered 1 baby.
And what did the mother always think happened to the other baby?
That it was taken by EPs.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, and did the doctors, the nurses have anything to say about that? I mean, did they reflect upon, did they say, when you're talking to a lady, there never was a twin, or did they say, yeah, what happened to that other baby? I mean, don't they have a medical record of heartbeats? And okay.
They can't explain it. They say, well, I guess we were wrong.
Well,
it was bad sonography. That goes back to the poor sonographers that get it so bad. Well, I guess they were just mistakes. Oh, well, we think we only have 1. And just blow them off.
What about vanishing triplet syndrome?
Oh, yes, that happens with them, too. I was at one UFO conference, and there were 6 sets of twins and 3 sets of triplets at one UFO conference. They were represented there. Some of them that both twins were there, and some of them, they knew there was another one, they knew there was a third one, and some of them there was just 1 twin, or they thought they were twins, and it was amazing. It's so common.
Is vanishing triplet syndrome different than vanishing twin? I mean, do you see, for example, people who may have been a surviving triplet, or I forget if you call it singleton or single twin, but if they have triplets, do they have the same feeling which is another one.
I've never heard of anybody having that, but they do have the same kind of thing because there's somebody missing. You know, there's memory in the womb. We know that now. With Thomas Verny's work and David Chamberlain, we know that there's memory in the womb. And so there was somebody else in there, they're going to remember. Oftentimes. It may be very subconsciously, but now right now we are triggering so many people on this planet. You should see what's happening on the E-group. I mean, they're joining the E-group like crazy.
Really? Well, we'll give the numbers here coming up in just a second, and we'll start hearing from them directly, and they can join the conversation for the rest of the show on vanishing twin syndrome, and they can tell us their story, or if they have questions coming up for Carol Dennis. But then you mentioned the ET conferences and some of the other things you've been involved with. Are there other aspects of birth that you have studied along the way, along with that has become as a result of your investigation into VTS?
Well, the whole abduction scenario, you know,
right, you mentioned
the missing fetus thing, you know, that's very common, you know, and so I looked at that, but not really. That it's okay. This is just it's been.
Well, I was curious where this would go, because it seems like one thing in this conversation, even like one thing is connected to another thing is connected to another thing. So right. I didn't know whether to take it down the star children path.
Oh, yes. Yes, I see what you're getting at. Yes, it does. It definitely does. There's definitely.
Tell me about that then. Tell me about that.
It seems that so often they do have those the same characteristics of what some people we call them the Millennium Children in our book that we wrote, but before the word indigo really came about, or children of the blue ray, or star children, or crystal children, or rainbow children, or all these different things.
Yeah, rainbow. I'd forgotten rainbow children. Yeah, that was one term that got used for a while. Right.
Yeah, and I think that's really sad that these labels are being put on these children, because there's so many of them that are experiencing this that, you know, I think we're just trying to figure it out. We're trying to label them and name them, but I think that's not such a good idea. But not all of the Millennium Children that I've researched were twins. However, many of them were. They walk and talk early or very late. Very often they have near-death experiences. They want to be vegetarians because they can hear the meat scream, one child told me. Their senses are very hyper. Very often they have allergies. They have super strength. One little boy was able to lift a car off from himself at 2 years old with super strength. He ran over him, and he was a twin. Was supposed to have been a twin. Very often they see auras and ghosts and fairies and imaginary friends and orbs. The orbs are another fascinating thing. There's some pictures up on my website of orbs that I called in one night.
Well, I don't know about the orbs. I mean, this is something that's common to indigo children, or Millennium Children, as you call it?
Yeah, because they're seeing beyond the normal visible light spectrum. And I think that this is part of what happens to the single twins, is they keep them in a paranormal state. They seem to be very psychic. Very, very often these people are very intuitive. And they just, they just instinctively know that there's something different about them. And they have abilities to heal. They have pre-birth memories. They have out-of-body experiences. They remember past lives. They're super intelligent. A lot of times they receive information from the twins. I did a research project, which is exactly how I found out about the twins. I was doing a research project with a hypnotherapist, and it was about people who have contact with extraterrestrials that become geniuses. And what we found out was that almost all of these people that we interviewed, there was about 75 of them in the original project, that they were almost all twins, were supposed to have been twins or have a lot of twins in their family.
Product, 2000 runway.
eBay 2025. Fendi, guaranteed authentic. Let me guess.
eBay.
Same.
Millions of finds with eBay Authenticity Guarantee. Ready to organize the perfect Secret Santa? Use draw names. Invite your loved ones. Watch them show up, just like that. Draw names, creating magic moments.
How do you put this behind you and move forward? That's something I ask each missing person family, because I don't understand how you can do that.
I can't. I mean, you know, I want some type of closure. I want him to be found.
One of the most confusing and frustrating investigations by law enforcement is related to people who disappear in highly rural locations, forests, plains, deserts, and regions with few residences. These cases offer no witnesses, few clues, and a strange lack of evidence. Where are these people? How did they disappear without leaving a scent trail, no tracks, and a distinct lack of physical evidence? The investigator is left with a distraught family grieving about a missing loved one, wanting them found, where many times the search area is the size of a national forest. My name is David Politis. I'm a former San Jose police officer who has worked complex and long-term investigations while being assigned to vice intelligence, street crimes, SWAT, and various detective roles. I'm a best-selling author investigating missing people in national parks, forests, and rural locations for over 20 years. The investigative process has led me to interview incredible witnesses that tell a fantastic story that challenges the investigative protocols every detective follows. We are staring at unconventional possibilities supported by witnesses, video, and most recently, our own government. The human species has been walking the earth for thousands of years, hunting, gathering, and observing. From the moment we left our cave, we have looked to the skies in amazement and wonder about unidentified objects. In just the last 100 plus years, we have left the ground and flown into the clouds with a different perspective about our life in this world. We've continued to be amazed and perplexed by flying objects that have capabilities far beyond what our government says is ours. Are these craft piloted by entities that have our best interests? Is our planet merely the ant farm for complex societies light years from Earth? Could it be we offer other worlds new DNA that's needed to refurbish their existence? Or are they driven by a plan that is so far beyond our capability to comprehend that the human mind isn't programmed to accept and live with the consequences? Join me on a fact-finding journey that has never been disclosed. Keep an open mind on the possibilities and a warm and compassionate heart for the missing.
In multiple missing 411 books, it looks like people are snatched out of off the ground, and then some of them are dropped back into these locations with little kids that are suddenly miles and miles away. It seems like, I know you don't want to commit to any particular explanation because you don't have enough evidence to point to one in particular, but some of the stuff certainly ventures into the area of the paranormal, and one of the stories that I was able to break earlier this year was about Skinwalker Ranch, that program that had been created by the Pentagon to look at UFOs. Also went much further than it studied what we would call paranormal events, unexplained mysteries at places like Skinwalker Ranch and elsewhere. Earlier this year, I was invited to go back by Senator Harry Reid to meet with some people whose names I cannot make public. One of these guys pulls me aside, and then he said, you know, we think that guy Dave Politis, that his mystery with these missing people might be related to the phenomena at the ranch. But the idea that the phenomena that's been seen there, which is sometimes playful and sometimes dangerous, might be related to yours, startled. And I don't know how you react to that, but maybe it makes you uncomfortable being associated with anything as weird as that, but your stuff's pretty weird too.
So after reviewing several thousand missing person cases, several distinct facts started to come up. And I started to put piles of these reports in different areas of my room that indicated certain points of importance. And after a while, I started to call these profile points. As an example, in 97% of the cases that I research, one of the profile points is that canines brought to the scene can't pick up a scent trail. They bring trackers to the scene and they can't find tracks leaving the location that the person was last seen at. So the number one profile point in our work is lack of scent trail. Some of the most common profile points would be weather-related issues, either just as the person disappears or just after they're missing, or when the search starts, there's a weather incident that inhibits the searcher's ability to find the individual. Another one is the victim found in an area that was previously searched. Oftentimes, an area will be searched 5, 6, 7 times. And then all of a sudden, when they're getting ready to pull out, the search and rescue says, we give up. They find the person in the middle of the area that had been searched many, many times. Oftentimes, when somebody goes missing, they go missing in an area near water or boulders or swamps and bogs. And once these profile points were established, and this is after reading thousands of reports, I started to document them and say, okay, if these are going to be the profile points that we use moving forward, then these will be the ones that we have to look for in the reports as they come in. This has become the overshadowing criteria for a missing 411 case.
And in this instance, we're in Vancouver, British Columbia, and we're researching a case of a missing hunter, someone who had visited the same location 20 times in 20 years. It's a location that he and his wife have come to many times. In this instance, he came out alone. He brought his dogs, his camper, and his raft, do a little fishing, sightseeing, and just relaxing in nature. And he disappeared on the shores of Harrison Lake, and we still don't know what really happened to Ray Solomon.
Ray was an outdoor camper, hunter, fisherman, grew up in the woods, northern Ontario, very experienced and safe outdoorsman. 32 years we were married together for about a year and a half before that. He would have rather gone hunting, camping with me than with anyone else. He was always telling me that, but I'm a fair weather camper. I would not have been out in the bush if it wasn't for Ray. Ray made it wonderful.
At the time I met him, he was about 65, just recently retired. He worked for Rogers Sugar in Vancouver as chief maintenance man. He was empathetic. He was concerned about what you felt about something, which is rare today. And I liked that. I enjoyed his company. He's the type of guy who's from the old school. He had this adventurous spirit. He had a map of British Columbia in a booklet form. Very seldom would I find a blank page, part of this province, that Ray hadn't visited.
So he drove up to Harrison Lake from your home here.
Right.
In a truck with a camper.
Right.
And what else did he have with him?
A fridge, a furnace, air conditioner, a few rifles, and maybe a couple pistols with him. And he took his Zodiac with him, and had a motor on the Zodiac. He had a complete life jacket, good flotation device. So fully equipped, he had the 2 dogs, and if anything comes around, they would bark.
He'd been to this spot many times before.
Many times, because you can get there. When he was still working, he could go Friday after work and get there and set up camp, and been with him a couple of times. We've gone for a week at a time.
And again, for clarity, he doesn't go and just sit at his camper all day.
No.
He's out going over the hillsides, walking around. So he's been all through the mountainsides in this area many times in the past.
Correct.
He says, oh yeah, I'm gonna camp down by the lake in this certain spot. So he says, I gotta get going now because I gotta set up camp before dark. That's the last time I seen him. We were planning to go out up the lake and look for old gold mines. He says, I'll come down in the Zodiac and pick you up on Monday morning. On Sunday afternoon, I was doing some repair work on a trailer up here, and we heard 3 gunshots.
Home alone, downstairs watching TV, and the doorbell rings, and it was a Vancouver City police officer, and she was asking if Ray Salmon is home. I said, well, what is it? What's wrong? Why are you asking me this? And she said she didn't have any information, and I couldn't contact Ray even.
I put curing hepatitis C on my today list.
Epclusa treats all types of chronic hepatitis C with a 98% cure rate. Epclusa is one pill once a day for 12 weeks. If you've had hepatitis B, it may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B, liver or kidney problems, HIV, and all medicines and supplements you take. Taking amiodarone with Epclusa may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Most common side effects include headache and tiredness. Ask your doctor about Epclusa today.
Machine learning is advancing, but businesses wonder if some machines can keep up.
Let's welcome our new co-worker, Jeff.
Copier, that's a great idea.
Wonder if it's the same idea as yesterday.
It's a performance issue, really. I know people push your buttons, but you still have to deliver.
Anything can change the world of work. ADP Assist is AI, informed by workplace data, and designed for the next anything.
We had a cell phone. There wasn't any cell phone coverage at Harrison Lake. I think I phoned the RCP at about 5 in the morning, and they were very brief. They never gave me any details at the time. They just said he's missing. So I didn't know if he was walking with a dog somewhere and didn't make it back. And as he said to me, if you're injured, if you're in the woods and you're injured, you wait for them to come to you. Don't start trying to crawl around, wasting energy if you can't. They will come and they will look for you. And I thought, okay, I know what's happened now.
A call came in about going out to search for a possible missing person at this spot. The team knew I had a lot of experience in this area, so I was one of the first team members to arrive at that scene that day. When we showed up, his truck and camper were right at this very spot. All his belongings were kind of laid out under the tarp. His truck and camper looked in great shape.
The RCMP goes up, they find the truck and the camper locked. Dogs inside, 2 dogs, and nobody's around. If Ray went out for a hike, would he take the dogs?
Definitely.
So he wouldn't leave them in?
Never leave the dogs. This is what he's got the dogs for.
So in your mind, why would he lock the camper door?
Unless there was a danger to the dogs, but what kind of danger would be there to the dogs?
It was the strangest thing. I've never showed up to a search where we had full ERT members, and there was guys with fully automatic weapons, and I remember it very specifically because I've never showed up to a search where we're searching alongside emergency response team members.
I was with the RCMP for 31 years, and back here, where I'm from, in the Fraser Valley, I was here for 22 years.
Are you familiar with the Ray Salmon disappearance on Harrison Lake?
Yes.
So on a disappearance of a missing person case, can you fathom in your own mind why they would send out an RCMP SWAT team?
For the unanswered questions, are we looking at someone who got murdered? Are we looking at somebody who got kidnapped? Or they may have a tip that nobody knows about, I don't know about, top secret kind of stuff.
I remember an officer telling me kids showed up at the Agassiz RCMP detachment saying that their vehicle was shot at. And I remember later talking to the RCMP officer saying that kids reported their headlights being shot out.
If he shot out somebody's headlights, and he was that good of a shot to shoot out the headlights, then he was probably trying to get attention to where he was.
I don't know if I would shoot at someone's car to get attention, because what's going in my mind is, oh my God, what if I accidentally hit someone?
Now, we know Ray was a responsible hunter, had a license to have his guns, had hunted for decades. So yeah, I'm with you. I believe that is very strange behavior.
I remember thinking, well, that wouldn't have been Ray. Ray wouldn't be shooting. If he did anything, as he told me, you shoot 3 times in the air for SOS. Now there's more to the story than just Ray missing, but not knowing what.
Right directly behind him was the grad party. So the party was happening up over here. There was estimated to be about 50 people at that party, and there was a massive amount of garbage we cleaned up when we got here.
And they didn't consider that possible evidence as well?
Something seemed wrong at that point.
When you hear the search and rescue person's rendition of what just happened, I don't think in 7,000 cases that I've ever heard anything so strange as telling a search and rescue group to go pick up a grad party's remains of what they left, and then coupled with the fact that there were shots fired at the scene, and they bring in a special weapons team to the area. But that wasn't it. The more you hear it, the stranger the story gets.
We would hike for a couple hours in here and start grid searching, and we would just basically come back to this point and then go again. Then we also got on ATVs, and so we had boats. We had 2 watercraft in the lake at that time, searching the shoreline, air support as well.
And I remember when I first talked to you, you said you were told not to go into the bush.
On the second day, his belongings were found by air. They spotted his clothes. Now this is a day, if not 2 days after the initial search.
It wasn't even probably an hour or 2 after that. I remember the corporal, the RCMP members, still in uniform, coming out of the bush saying it's unsearchable. We found his clothes. It's not worth it to go in there.
It's so clear because I was like, nothing is unsearchable. Why would they all of a sudden just call it that quickly?
I asked Adam to show me the location where Ray's clothes were found. Strangely, there was even a worn-out search and rescue tag on a tree.
This is where his clothes were probably most likely found. And it's very old. It would be from that time period.
The search uncovered, via helicopter, some folded items under a log in his rifle 400 yards north of his truck, right on the beach. And then over a small hill, quite a distance away, they found his pistol laying in a meadow.
They would give me bits and pieces. They would call and they would say, oh, we found Ray's backpack under a tree. And then later on, they told me somewhere in a field they found his 9mm. And I thought, Ray would never leave a pistol anywhere.
So you're into it a few days. They found these items. I read that it was the feeling of the RCMP that he must be in the water. Is that true?
As they were saying, oh, we think he must have drowned. And I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. His boat is at the campsite, so he wouldn't have fallen off the boat. And if he was on the boat, he would have had his life jacket on.
The official report says he was injured and got into the water and was trying to swim back, and that's how he drowned. But it was hard to believe.
If anybody said, well, he was stripping his clothes because he had hypothermia.
It wasn't raining, and it was June. It was warm, and I was even up at 6,000 feet elevation, and I was in a t-shirt sweating.
They never found any traces of any blood, animal or human. They even said it was unusual that they had that many tracking dogs. I've never found a track.
Or a scent.
Or a scent.
That's an important point. When you go from the point of the pistol, from the camper, to the beach, there you have an established area to start from, to go to. It's not like you're going blindly at this point. So the dogs should have been able to track Ray point to point to point pretty easily, and they didn't. The RCMP had a search boat combing the shoreline. Ray's wife also hired a private response.
West of the Rockies.
I'm always really hesitant because I do a show on this kind of thing. When finally something does happen to me, I don't know, I feel hesitant to talk about it because it sounds like it's cooked or something, but it's not. It really happened. Heather, you're a sweetheart. Thank you for coming on the air, verifying my story and all that stuff.
Anytime.
All right, take care. That's Heather Wade. So there you have it. It really did. It scared me as much as anything has scared me in my whole life. I guess, to be fair, I was in shock after the UFO incident. Actually, a couple of them. Shock, but not That night I was scared. I did. I grabbed a gun. Not ashamed to say that. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was dealing with. I still don't. No clue. It's completely and utterly unsettling. And here is, I believe, Debbie. Hello, Debbie.
Hey, Art. How are you?
Well, I guess you can hear how I am.
Well, I'm really enjoying the show, and it's really great to have you back.
Thank you.
Anyways, I've got two stories. I guess I'll let you pick. One is a shadow person thing that happened to me back in the 80s.
Really?
And, yeah. And the other one was an out-of-body experience that I had back on May 20th. Equally as amazing.
Yeah, but right now, let's go with the shadow person, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
Can you describe to me what your shadow person, or what it looked like?
You know what? I know it's going to sound corny, but it looked like Dick Tracy. Do you remember the Dick Tracy cartoons?
I do.
From the 60s, and they were in the funny papers.
Sure.
Yeah. It looked like Dick Tracy, only in the shadows. And this being would stand at the end of my bed any night that my husband didn't come to bed with me.
Oh, good Lord.
So, yeah, he would stay up and watch television sometimes.
Well, it must have been the point. The first couple of times, you must have been dragging your husband into the bedroom.
I can't tell you how terrifying it actually was. And I had 3 small children at the time. So I was exhausted by 8 o'clock, and I would go in, and sometimes I would just fall asleep. And this presence was, you could tell that someone was there. It would wake you up. It would wake me up out of a dead sleep, and I would see him standing at the end of the bed.
Well, that's even more horrifying, because at that point you're between sleep and being very awake, and boy, if that doesn't give you a heart attack, I don't know what will.
Well, it was really, really frightening, and and this went on for, I don't know, I'd say years.
Okay, did your Dick Tracy years? Did he have arms, legs, discernible, everything?
Only thing I could tell was, this person was in the shadows, and just, I could see a hat and a face, and kind of like just square shoulders, long and black. I couldn't discern any arms or legs, but what I later determined, and what I later found out, which is the really interesting part of the story, is that someone very close to me had put a hex on me.
Oh.
And I wasn't a big believer in hexes, but I got it on pretty good word that this thing that followed me for so many years was a familiar, and this was a male that had put this hex on me. Was his familiar.
Was this some male that you had felt you had treated him incorrectly or something?
I had not. The male figure was actually my father.
Oh, your father? Why would your father put a hoax on you?
Hex.
Or a hex. Sorry.
Well, I married someone that he didn't like. And that person was killed in a motorcycle accident, and he sold him the motorcycle.
Now, dads don't generally put hexes on daughters. I mean, it's not one of those things that a dad would do. Your dad must have been, what's the right word?
Well, it was hateful. Spiteful.
Definitely hateful. And you'd think he would put the hex on the husband.
He did, and he was killed.
Okay, so it was the both of you, really.
It was.
Yikes.
And there's many other things that go with that, and I'm not going to go into all of those because they've taken off for a long time. But anyways, the Dick Tracy shadow figure stayed with me for many years. And I tried to call in when you had Evelyn Paglini on several times back, way back when.
Right. God bless her. I hope she does well. They're now looking for another Evelyn.
Well, I hope you find her. She really was a spiritual warrior, and I really admired her a lot. I wanted to tell her my story so bad
frankly, a lot of the serious things are battles. All right, thank you so very much. I appreciate your call. Good talking to you. And again, anything you want to talk about is fair game tonight. That was a good one. That was definitely a good one. Can you imagine that? A hex on both of them. What daddy would do that to his daughter? I could understand the hex on the guy. His own daughter. Wow. Let's go, I don't know where I'm going. It doesn't really matter. It says anonymous. Welcome to the program.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
It's funny you're doing this topic. I was going to call you on Friday. A few years ago, I had a serious problem with shadow nonsense.
What is this? Yeah, what? It's so common.
I know what it is, and I can tell you how to see it for yourself, and then I can tell you how to get rid of it.
Getting rid of it, part of it, I want to hear right away.
Okay. Well, it's kind of like getting out of sleep paralysis. You know, the harder you fight it, the worse it gets. You have to relax and let go of the fear. And it's kind of the same thing with these things.
Right. So how do you do that? How do you get rid of fear? I mean, when you see something that is pretty much not of this world, I mean, you can see through it, and you can see other parts of the room, right? It's just a figure. I don't know how you conquer that fear, because it's just abnormal.
What I did was, the first time I saw it, it scared me to death. I mean, and I'm a fairly rational person, and I looked at this thing, I didn't blink, I didn't look away, because I assumed it was one of those things where, you know, my mind was mistaking shadows and making a shape that wasn't really there, like a coat rack looks like a guy standing there. Anyway, it wasn't that. And I never looked away from it, and the thing was standing in the stairwell, and it just kind of tipped back, and, you know, I got up, I turned all the lights, I got to go down and freaked out. The next day I was on work about it. I never heard a shadow person in my entire life. I was describing it to him, and he said, you know, it's a real thing. You can look it up on the internet. People have seen it. So I looked it up. I thought, well, this is horrible. So the more research I did, I never found anybody that got hurt by it. There was never, you know, nobody was sent to the hospital by shadow person. So I was resolved that the next time I saw one, I was going to do the same thing I did with sleep paralysis. It didn't hurt me the first time I saw it. I'm just going to assume it's not going to hurt me the second time I see it. I'm going to lie.
And so you did?
I did. And you can do this too if you get rid of the fear. And the trick is to not look away.
Okay. What happened? You relaxed, and then what?
I relaxed. The second time I saw it, it was a praying mantis. And I'm
wonderful. That would just cheer me right up.
Well, it sounds ridiculous. And what's weird is same height, same plate, same kind of like standing in the shadows. This time it was, you know,
praying mantis.
Praying mantis, like,
well, yeah, okay, so small, like you would have a wall, or a big?
No, it was like 8 feet tall. I mean, it was terrible. So,
sure, I just backs away with that.
Well, I looked that one up, and apparently in the area in which I was living at the time, that was something that people saw commonly. But anyway, I guess it has something more to do with the extraterrestrial experience. All of that aside,
listen, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sick. If what I saw had turned into a praying mantis, I'd be dead now. So I don't know, when you're talking this relaxation stuff, you're going to have to do better than that. I don't, you know, once it turns into, I relax the shadow, and it turns into a praying mantis, and you're telling me that was a good finish.
Well, yes and no. Now that I knew what I was dealing with, I could do a little more research, and I could the internet's your friend, but when we did a little more research and found out this was another common experience that many people had, and again, nobody's been hurt by one of these things.
Sometimes the internet's your friend. I remember back when I started this whole damn topic in the first place, long ago, I went and looked it up on the internet, and all it had was terrifying pictures of these shadow people. I didn't even think it was real when somebody first brought it up. I said, shadow people.
No, I get it.
It's all over the internet.
But anyway, the way to get rid of it is positivity, and it sounds kind of cliche. The way I got rid of it was with Howard Jones music and 80s comedy. But it kind of feeds on, it seemed to get worse the more afraid I was. But the less consumed, because at the time when I was seeing these things, I was miserable and my life sucked, and I I was upset about a few things, and it seemed to kind of show up more often the angrier I was. So I consumed myself with, you know, I made sure I wasn't watching anything dark on television. I surrounded myself with, you know, upbeat music. And anyway, it just kind of went away after that. Like,
okay.
I still see one occasionally, but I'm not afraid of it. It doesn't bother me. It's not a menace. But it seems to be, you need to relax, get rid of fear.
I would like to say that you have calmed me right down, but you have not. And nevertheless, I appreciate your attention. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
No, that didn't do it. I mean, the shadow person is terrifying enough, and then see it move, or have it move on you, and then be first to your right, then behind you, and then to your left. I just fled. Once I saw it to the left, and it disappeared, and it did, I fled. And I've already told you, got to come all around. Was prepared to try a shot if I saw it, and I didn't. You know, that's probably how you end up shooting the wrong person. So, God, it was terrible. And would if I had managed to somehow suddenly relax, do you honestly think this thing, had it turned into a gigantic 8-foot praying mantis, would have relaxed me? No. Not even close. It would have finished me off for sure. Once again, if you're outside North America, that means America, Canada, anywhere in the rest of the world, it's really easy to get through. Just call us on Skype at MITD55. MITD55 outside. I'd love to hear from you. A stack full of calls here in this, and speaking of calls, in Ottawa something or another, you're on the air.
Oh, hi, Art. It's Rob from Ottawa.
Hey.
Roswell's to you. I'm, I guess, one of your tasty Canadian time travelers. Welcome, thank you. The first call you got after you made your you made your mission public. Yeah, I don't know if you asked if it's a shadow person or a ghost. I don't know. I'll tell you what happened to me quickly. Like I've seen, like, you know, the corner of your eye thing.
Yes.
You see something there. We've all seen that. What made mine different, this thing went across the room. It went from left to right, like it didn't want to be seen.
Yeah, there you have it. I want to add something just real quickly.
Yeah.
This was not a corner of your eye thing. I mean, when I first noted something was there present, yeah, I forget, it was the corner of my eye, but then I turned toward it and I saw the damn thing. Then I saw it behind me. It had form. It was real. It disappeared. It was then to the left of me and then gone.
No, mine was just like the other caller. It had no legs, no head. It was about waist high. It was a dark object. Like I was in we had gone to Vancouver. We were staying in an older hotel, nice hotel, 1912, and we were on the 5th floor. I say that because there's no headlights at that floor. The drapes are very, very heavy, so I'm not getting any light. And I just happened to get up 2 in the morning, went to the bathroom, went into the small little kitchenette, grabbed some orange juice. Now, the reason I wasn't afraid, probably, because I was half asleep. I took my slug of orange juice, and I was appearing in from the kitchenette back in the living room. This thing just like right across the room. And I went, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. And I wasn't afraid, probably because I was like half asleep. So I lie down, my wife's there. She's like not moving at all. And it's a king bed. She's not moving at all. So I lie down, okay, and I'm just thinking about this thing. And then at the end of the bed, I feel some pressure. Not a lot of pressure,
yes,
but a little bit of pressure.
Yes.
Now, you know, I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to look back. You know, like I'm thinking now, there's no way I'm going to look back. And I figured, okay, if this thing doesn't touch me, I'm not going to look back, and I'll just let it go. And I fell asleep, you know, but there was definitely pressure at the end of my bed as well. Now I have a reservation.
How did you fall asleep? Yeah, wait, how did you fall asleep? That'd be the last thing in the world I could do after that.
Well, again, I was tired. It was 2:30 in the morning. You know, I felt a little pressure. I mean, I didn't want to look back. Like I just was afraid to see what I would find. So
I'm going to guess you're on a Bluetooth, right?
I'm on a Bluetooth? No, I'm on a cell phone. Yeah.
Cell phone. Okay.
Yeah. So So, like, I figured as long as the pressure doesn't become any more so, or this thing doesn't grab me, I'm not going to look back,
So you fell asleep, and when you woke up, everything was all right?
Everything was fine. I told my wife about it. I thought, and then I started trying to put pieces together. Okay, well, the curtains are heavy. There's no light. We're up on the 5th floor. Like, I figured whatever this thing was, didn't want to be seen.
Outside the country somewhere, you are on the air. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I'll tell you what. Get good and close to, like, the microphone part of your computer, if you would.
Okay, my name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
I'm coming from Sydney, Australia.
Sydney, Australia. Excellent. Welcome to the program.
I'm going to make this real quick because I do childcare, and I just had to give you a call. I had an incident back in 2006 where I woke up in the middle of the night. I think it was around 2 a.m. and there was a very tall, dark creature standing between myself and the television. I was in bed.
Michelle,
TV.
Did it have form, or what kind of form did you see?
Yes, it had form. It had a long cloak on, and it had a hood.
Oh.
It nearly reached the ceiling of my bedroom, and it said, everything will be all right, go back to sleep. And with that, I went back to sleep.
Really?
And when I woke in the morning, I could not understand why I went to sleep, as I was terrified.
I'm with you.
Absolutely terrified.
Obviously, It put you to sleep.
Yes, it did.
And
most definitely.
Probably the kindest thing it could have done for you.
Yes, I think so.
It sounds like your charges are climbing the wall, actually.
Yes, they are. Sorry. As soon as you want to make a call, they want to come inside. But I've had many other experiences, unnatural experiences, or natural, I'm not sure. But that one was very concerning to me.
I bet it was. What would you, if you had to guess about what was that? An entity, a ghost, a shadow person?
It had solid form. It was there. I don't think it was a ghost. Somehow, I don't think it was a shadow person. To this day, I don't know what it was. And I'll tell you another experience is when I was in my early 20s. I was living in the city in Sydney with my boyfriend. And I woke up one morning, went and had a shower, and I found a whole lot of squiggles. Like somebody had been drawing with red texture or red pen on my stomach. Now, I'm a black girl. And so, but it was very, very bright.
Wow.
And I thought it was my boyfriend. So I got out of the shower, went and woke him up, and I said, what were you doing in the middle of the night drawing on my stomach?
Right.
I was very angry. And he said, don't be ridiculous. I did nothing of the kind. But what was most peculiar was that all my life I had an outie belly button, very predominantly out. And that from that moment on, he said, what happened to your belly button? It was gone.
Wow, a positive experience. Kind of.
No, I was happy with my outfit. Thank you very much.
I love it. All right, thank you so much for the call.
Oh, I'm very surprised that I got through. First time I tried, so thank you.
Right, you call again. Thank you. Pretty easy to get through if you're outside the U.S. and Canada because, there's just not as many people. If you think about it, in Europe, for example, it's very early morning right now. It's easier for the Aussies, the Japanese, maybe people in Hong Kong to get through, maybe Thailand. We're at a better time of day there. Who wants to call a talk show when they're just, sitting at the kitchen table with their first cup of tea or something like that? So, all right, so where to go? Let's go to, I think, Buffalo, New York. You are on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
Like everyone, so happy that you're back.
Oh, I'm so happy to be back. You just don't know.
Yeah, well, we've missed you. Two things. The other day you were talking about the car out of your window. It was going to be hit.
Yes.
And I tried calling in how you had that strong feeling.
Sure.
And I wanted to mention the fact that I had that one time about 30 years ago where I was keeping score at the bowling alleys, and the little voice said, buy a ticket for the 50-50 split.
Right.
And I never spent money on it. And Well, I bought 2 tickets, and everybody was like, well, who's the winner? Who's the winner? And I go, I am. And they were like, well, how do you know? And I go, well, the ticket's in my pocket. I just know. And I did win. So that confirms your story with the car. But as far as the ghost thing, there's a place in south of Buffalo, it's Jamestown, and it's called Lilydale.
Right.
I've gone there for seminars. And when you're dealing with spiritualism and mediumship, and they have prayers that you can open the door to communication, and they train you to become intuitive. I mean, we all are. But there's a prayer, and I don't know if you want me to give you the prayer over the air.
I'll tell you what. Email it to me.
I don't have.
I'm willing.
It's a real simple one. You surround yourself with God's white light. I always say a prayer when I'm driving. Almighty God, surround me with the white light of your protection 3 times for body, soul, and mind.
How about trying to keep those idiots away from me?
Well, and the thing is that when I have dreams...
My problem, I always reach out with the negative.
You reach out and you send them back to... If they don't come with the highest good and your best interest and intention, you can empower yourself and send them back. If they don't come with the highest good for your...
Well, let's put it this way. When you're doing 65 miles an hour, let's say, on the highway, somebody passes you doing about 80, and then they slow down in front of you to about 50. I want to send them somewhere, but nowhere good.
Well, you know what? That's where it's kind of crazy. You could call me nuts, but when I surround myself with the white lights, I'm on the thruway, and I go 60. Speed limit's 55. I'm not going crazy, but they're all passing me anyway, even if I am going 5 over. But when I'm driving, it's uncanny how I'll look in the rear view, I'll look in the front, and I probably have about a 4-car space in front and behind me.
That's good.
I don't know what it is, but it's crazy how I have a circle around me. They're driving, there's 20 in front, there's 20 behind, but I've got a circle of freedom around me.
Okay, so you think that circle of protection keeps trouble away?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's either that. Thank you very, very much for the call. It's either that or, I don't know, like a machine gun mounted in the right place, which everybody who drives a lot wants.
Well,
I'm sorry, that's me. That's really just me.
All right, you're being funny and you're being,
Actually, I'm really not. I'm being serious. I don't have a positive attitude about it. If someone does that to me, it's like I could strangle them. I could, with my bare hands, watch the breath go out of their bodies.
Yeah, that's not good, though.
I know.
Not good, but but you can practice it. You can surround yourself with white light. You can any negative coming your way, return to sender.
Yeah, I mean the only white light I want to see is the tail end of a Stinger missile headed toward them. I appreciate your efforts anyway. I'll give it a try. And listen, if white light works, if good, wonderful vibrations actually do the trick, I'm going to give it a try. Thank you very much for the call. I think we're going to Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Hello, Art.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
I'm fine. Perplexed, but fine.
Glad to hear that. Well, my name is Matt, and I am calling from Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I just want to start by saying that it is an extreme honor to be able to speak with you, so thank you very much for taking my call.
It's an honor to be here to take it. Believe me, I am so glad to be here.
Well, everyone is so glad that you're back, so thank you for that as well.
All right.
But I wanted to briefly discuss with you about a possible guest that I would love to have you speak with.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure you might have heard of her. Her name is Dr. Judy Wood. And she is a PhD, and she's a brilliant woman. She has I don't think theory is quite the right word. She's come to believe through her own examination, through her own expertise, that the World Trade Center was destroyed by a high energy weapon, a free energy weapon.
The World Trade Centers, really? But we have all these high-resolution photographs of the airplanes crashing into them.
Well, she doesn't really speak so much about the airplanes. I know with 9/11, there's a lot of theories. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of differing opinions.
Oh, you're right about that, and there are, but we do have incontrovertible video proof of what hit them.
Right. Well, be that as it may, she discusses more about the collapse and what happened. I'm sure you're familiar with the Hutchinson effect. Did you ever speak with John Hutchinson?
Oh, yes.
Okay, right, yeah. She references the Hutchinson effect, and believe me, her research and her looking into this is so extensive. I wouldn't be able to do it justice here with this few short minutes that I have with you, but she's a fascinating guest. She's also caught the eye of many people, including Richard C. Hoagland, who's looked into this, and I don't know if you can say that he is a convert to her line of thinking, but I mean, it definitely, caught his attention.
Well, are you aware of the fact that he's got a show that follows mine?
Absolutely. Art, I used to fall asleep listening to you. Now I force myself to stay awake till 3 a.m. and I fall asleep to Richard, so he's got the pleasure now of being the one to lullaby me to sleep, so to speak.
I'm not sure if I should be honored or I think I am. In other words, you now stay awake for me and fall asleep with Richard.
I do. Nothing against Richard. It's just, the human body can only stay awake for so long, and, your program is can't miss in my book, so.
Now, we're discussing all kinds of things tonight. It's open lines. Don't feel bound to discuss shadow people. But if you do, I really would like the description of what you saw. I'm wondering if there's any commonality here. What I saw really is haunting me, and I guess haunting is the right word. That doesn't mean it was a ghost. It means it's haunting me. Hello there, Brian.
Hi, Art. Brian from Montreal.
From where?
From Montreal.
Okay. You're on.
So first things first, I like to do the Art Caller trifecta.
What would that be?
1, is this Art? 2, am I on the air? And 3, can you hear me?
Yes, and mostly.
Perfect. So I like to quickly suggest open lines in the future. I sent this to you on Friday, and I just thought it'd be a good idea. A Children of Time Traveler line, perhaps, that you can open up. One night you're doing open lines, because I think it'd be interesting.
I tried, but getting good time travelers is not an easy job.
But that's fair. I totally understand that, but I'm just figuring, with who knows how John Teacher actually spent his time here if he was supposedly here, right?
Yeah, you've got a good point. You don't have very good internet, but you've got a good point.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. No problem. Let me give out. Let me do it. I don't care. I mean, we can do anything you want. Let me open a time traveler line right now, just in case. Ready to copy, time travelers? If there really is a time traveler out there, call me at my Roswell number. That's right. It's routed through Roswell for a good reason. And the number is area code 575-208-7787. Any time travelers? The real McCoy now. Area code 575-208-7787. That's by request, I guess. All right, let's go to somebody in, I think, Nashville, Tennessee. Hi.
Oh, hello, Art. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I don't know what the subject is because I've had my radio turned down. What's the subject?
Well, the subject is whatever you want it to be. Now, we were talking about shadow people, or whatever the hell they are. But we can talk about anything you want.
Okay, well, first, can I give a plug for our new Art Bell Time Travelers Facebook page?
You may.
Okay, we have this brand new Art Bell Time Travelers Facebook page, and it's only been up like 2 or 3 days, and we've already got some really great people that have joined, and everybody loves you, and we're so glad you're back.
Okay, what is the actual, if you don't mind my asking, name of the Facebook page so people can, is it called Art Bell's Time Traveler or what?
It's RFL Time Travelers. They can put in up there in the search in the Facebook, they can just put Time Travelers.
Right.
Or RFL Time Travelers, and it'll go right to it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that will attract some to you.
I hope so, and we're having fun, and we're enjoying you, and we miss you so much. You just don't realize how much we have missed you.
It is
on the air.
Thank you so much.
And we're hearing you on shortwave here too. Chad Randall's got it playing, on 5085.
Right.
And it comes in very well.
I love the way a Southern person says that. 5085.
I know what you think about us.
No, I actually love the accent. I love it.
Well, thank you, but there's not much I can do about it.
Actually, you know what? A lot of singers, whether they're from the South or not, when they sing, pronounce them things as though they're from the South.
Really?
Yeah, I become I. And
you're talking about country music singers?
Not just country music singers, but any singers.
I never noticed that before.
It's true. Anyway, so I like your accent. Thank you very, very much for the call. And let me add, in addition to an Impairment Time Traveler page, I'm learning through, I get all these messages that come through the wormhole. Stryker says, TuneIn has its own chat room for any channel, so there are plenty of us chatting about the show in there. I had no idea. These chat sites and different things pop up all over the place. All right, on what I called my time traveler line, I'll give it a try. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art Bell.
Are you really a time traveler?
No, actually, I was availing myself of the, what, did I call the wrong number?
Oh, yeah, sure did. Sorry. That was for time travelers, and so I had to try it again. Time traveler line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, does it count as if time traveler sorts out a child being a time traveler? Art, I've been wanting to tell you this story for years. When I was a little girl, 9 years old, I really like time travelers.
Well, wait a minute. Let me qualify you first. Now, this is a time traveler's line. Are you a time traveler?
No, but I saw one when I was a child.
Okay, well, how do you know you saw one? I might go through this.
Well, I believe I did.
All right.
I was in my backyard, and I was about 9 years old, and it was after dinner. I was cleaning up my bike out of our cellar, out the cellar stool, and I turned back, and I looked behind me, and there was a man standing in my backyard about 30 feet. There was no way he could have gotten me here. And he was kind of shocked or kind of confused.
Yeah, but what makes him time travel?
He was out of time. His clothing was out of time.
Oh.
His clothes were like in the 50s, and this was like 1977, 1978. And he had like that haircut that you would have in the 50s, and a type of shirt and khaki pants. And then, as I was pulling the bike out, I looked back, I saw him, looked forward again, and then I realized, wait a minute, there's something wrong. I turned back around, and he was gone. And there was no way he could have left my yard. There was no way. He was too far from the gate.
Okay, well, I'm gonna thank you. I'm gonna let you slip through barely on that. I really want, now I'm gonna be strict about this. That line that I gave out is for time travelers only, all right? Let me give you the number again so you don't make a mistake. You better be a time traveler to call this line. It is area code 575-208-7787. Non-time travelers, well, I've got a little button here, and I can send 130,000 volts right through this phone line. So the potential danger for you extends beyond being hung up on. Time travelers only. Kurt, hello, on Skype, you're on the air. Hello, Kurt. No, Kurt.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh, you
Sorry,
are there.
I have my mute button on.
Oh, that'll do it.
Let me turn my radio off. Doggone it. I'm sorry. I came up fast.
Well,
How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I wanted to tell you about, I want to tell you about a little time travel story that happened to me.
Okay.
I was in, oh, I'm getting nervous. Okay.
Big, deep breath.
Okay. I was in high school in the marching band in the, hour one, we would march out on the field and practice. You know, in halftime you do all the designs on the field. And so that first hour, I think I was a sophomore at that time. And there I am and have my saxophone and in line. And Diana, happened to be my cousin too by marriage, but she played saxophone with me too, and we're standing there. And all of a sudden somebody comes walking out on that field. Look, just spitting image of me. It was me walking out on that field.
Oh my.
Looked at me, and Diana said, Curtis. Looking at him said, and laughed, Curtis, there you are. And he looked at me, or I looked at me, and he went up and talked to Mr. Yeager, our band director there in front, and went up there, and whatever he said, I have no idea. And he walked away and looked back at me and walked away, and I never saw him again.
And you're sure that was you?
It was me. It was a spitting image of me.
Were
But
you?
I didn't know. I
Okay,
just know that it was
a younger you, an older you,
It
or
was the same age as I was as
brother.
a sophomore, but it was a spitting image. Even Diana said, Curtis, there you are, laughing, and people looking around laughing. And I said, what was I to think? But then the next year, 2 years later, when I was a senior, I had to do the announcements